Hi guys, I've gotten some requests on the corner to corner join as you go method. This is just how I do it. You're going to use the basic corner to corner stitch for your first square, and I do a small square first. I just did a slip knot. I got a size 5mm crochet hook, and I'm going to do my corner to corner stitch. That is the first corner to corner stitch. It's just chain 6, double crochet in the third chain from the bottom, then double crochet in the 3 chains that are left, chain 6 again, double crochet in that third chain, 1, 2, 3, and then in the next one, and then again in the next one. Then you're going to flip the bottom one up, slip stitch into that chain 3 space right there, chain 3, and do 3 double crochet in the same space. Then chain 6, double crochet in that third chain from the bottom, then in the next one, and then again in the last one. Then you're going to flip this bottom part up again, slip stitch into that top hump, chain 3 space, chain 3, do 3 double crochet, then you're going to slip stitch into this space where this hump is, chain 3, and do 3 double crochet. That is basically the corner to corner stitch, but normally if you're just doing the corner to corner stitch, you would just keep going, but I'm going to do a decrease, so I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to go into the same stitch right there and slip stitch 1, go to the next, 2, go to the next, 3, and then into this chain 3 space right here. Then I'm going to chain 3 and do 3 double crochet. Slip stitch to the next top, chain 3, 3 double crochet, slip stitch to the next top, and then turn it back around, slip stitch into this first top of stitch right here, which would be your last double crochet you just did, and I go through both loops, slip stitch, next one, slip stitch, next one, slip stitch, and then into that space, chain 3, and do 3 double crochet for your last part of your small square, and then slip stitch to the top of that one right beside of it to connect it and make it a square. Turn your work, and slip stitch back to the corner. Now instead of cutting and tying this, I'm going to chain 3, then I'm going to go into this space right here and slip stitch. Then I'm going to chain 3 again. I'm going to turn my work back over, and I'm going to do 3 double crochet to build my second square. Then I'm going to chain 6. I hold that third one, that way I don't have to count. Double crochet into it, and the last 2. Turn this up, slip stitch into that chain 3 right there, chain 3, do 3 double crochet, slip stitch to this next space right here, chain 3, then slip stitch. It's kind of hiding into the chain 3 space of this square here, and then chain 3, turn it over, do 3 double crochet into that same space. Slip stitch to the next top, chain 3, do 3 more double, and you got your last top here, slip stitch, chain 3, do 3 double. Then you're going to do like you did for your first square. You're going to turn it over. You're going to go into that same, right there where the yarn is on the hook. You're going to go into that and slip stitch. Then into the next one and slip stitch. Into the next one, and then into the chain 3 space. This is the corner to corner decrease. Chain 3, do 3 double in that same chain 3 space. Then go over here to your next top, slip stitch, chain 3, do 3 double. Slip stitch to your last spot, turn your work, and slip stitch into that same space that your yarn's in. Slip stitch all the way across, and then into the chain 3 space, and then chain 3, and do 3 double crochet. Then you're going to slip stitch this square to this square using that chain 3 space. You're going to turn your work back over. You're going to slip stitch to this top of this double crochet, and into the chain 3 space. Now normally you would keep going on if like you're doing an afghan like I'm doing my Pikachu afghan, and keep going until your graph pattern goes. But to build up, when say this is the last part of my afghan, you still don't cut the yarn. what you do is you chain 3, you come across this way into this space. See, I got the work like this now. You're going to chain 3 and then come into that first space and slip stitch. Chain 3, turn it back over this way, do 3 double, chain 6, do a double crochet in that 3rd chain from the bottom or the 4th chain from the hook, and into the last 2 chains. Then you're going to turn your work back over, and here's your chain 3 on this first square. You're going to slip stitch to that, chain 3, and do 3 double crochet. And then you're going to go to the next space in between 3 double crochets, slip stitch, then you're going to chain 3, and you're going to go over to this space and slip stitch it to that, and then chain 3, turn your work back over, and do 3 double crochet into that chain 3 you just slip stitch to this space. Slip stitch to the top, chain 3 on this side, chain 3, do 3 double crochet, slip stitch to the top, chain 3 space, chain 3, do 3 double, this is where you start your decrease, so you turn your work, slip stitch into the top of the last double crochet, and into the second one, into the first one, and into the chain 3 space, chain 3, do 3 double crochet, then get to the chain 3 space of the next square, slip stitch it and chain 3, do 1, 2, 3 double, and then you're going to slip stitch it to the top, chain 3 in that space, then you're going to turn your work back over, slip stitch right here at the top of this double crochet, slip stitch to the top of the second double crochet, and then to the third, and then into that space, chain 3, and do 3 double crochet, slip stitch to that chain 3, turn your work back over, slip stitch across the top of each double crochet. This brings you back over so you can work on your next square of the row. And now you should have something that looks like a backwards L. To get this one, it's going to be join as you go. You're going to chain 3, and in this first space here, you're going to slip stitch, Then you're going to chain 3, turn your work, and do 3 double crochet. Then you're going to chain 6, do 3 double, 1 in each chain, and you're going to turn your work over again, slip stitch to the top of this box you just made, chain 3, do 3 double, then you're going to come across here, slip stitch into this space here, chain 3, come across to this space here, slip stitch, and then this space that's on this first square over here, because here's a square, here's a square, here's a square, you just slip stitch here, you're going to slip stitch into here too. That helps keep your work straight. And then you're going to chain 3, and then you're going to come across over here and slip stitch into this space on this first square like so. Then you're going to turn your work, and you have something that looks kind of funky, and you're going to do 3 double crochet into this chain 3 that you slip stitched across this one. Yarn over and just do 3 double crochet right there in the corner to close that gap. Then you're going to slip stitch to the top of this hump, chain 3, do 3 double, slip stitch to this hump, top of the next chain 3, and do 3 double. Now you're going to start your decrease. You're going to turn your work, and again go into the same space that your yarn's coming out of, and go under both loops and slip stitch. 1, 2, 3 double, and then into the chain 3 space, chain 3, do 3 double, slip stitch into this next chain 3, do chain 3, and then do another 3 double, okay. Now you're going to slip stitch into this one right here. You got a gap on this side and a gap on this side. You're going to slip stitch into that gap, and then you're going to slip stitch onto the other side of that same gap. Got something funny looking. I promise you it's going to come out to a square. You turn your work, and then you're going to slip stitch across these stitches, starting on this one. Slip stitch 1, then you're going to go under both what looks like a V, slip stitch, slip stitch, and then into the chain 3 space. See if I can pull it up. Yeah, right there, chain 3 space, slip stitch, Then you're going to turn your work back around and you're going to slip stitch into this space right here. Then you're going to chain 3 and you're going to slip stitch right there at the very corner of that one. And then you have one space. So you're going to turn it over, move my tail. You got something that looks like that. You're going to yarn over and do 3 double crochet right under that chain 3 that you just slip stitch to here, and then you slip stitch there and then did that chain 3. You're going to do 3 double crochet right there. And then you're going to slip stitch to this chain 3 space on this square. Turn your work over. Then you're going to slip stitch into each top through both what looks like a V on the top of those 3 double crochet. And then right there where that knot's at in the corner. And then you cut and tie whenever you get through. But same concept, if you had another square down here, you would keep going over here. You have to fiddle with it some because the yarn can be, especially if it's thick yarn like this yarn, can be funky. But that is how I do my side to side, corner to corner, join as you go.